Hey, Brian here, Set the Base, Triathlon.com. Greetings, salutations. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you're watching this. If you're watching this live, it's kind of still good morning, almost good afternoon, but we're almost right at lunchtime. I'm doing a live video. We're doing another catch up of IRONMAN Des Moines and talking about the full and or the 70.3, whichever is applicable, whichever year you're doing it. 21 is 70.3, 22 is a full Ironman, 23 is going to be back to a 70.3. And my updates to where should you stay for the race. And as you can see, I've got Des Moines pulled up on the map. We've got to go Ironman Des Moines. It's to be determined, which kind of leads me to believe maybe they'll bring back the full. Overall, I enjoyed the full. I didn't enjoy the weather. I wish the average air temperature was 71 degrees, but it turned out to be like 88 with 90% humidity, and the heat index was almost 100, and it was not very comfortable, not very fun. But that's just the weather. The course, I like the course. I like the swim. I like the bike course. 85% of the roads were in good condition. Probably what you're going to get with most Ironman races. And then the run, I liked it because it's very spectator friendly, and I had my daughter with me, and it was very convenient. And like I said, it's very spectator friendly. But we're going to talk about the lodging situation because it is a little bit unique. I pulled up the event schedule because attached to that is they kind of had a map of where everything was going on. So you can see a little key down here in the green. The green is where the Iron Kids were. So, if you're signing up, you're bringing little kids, you want to do the Iron Kids race, that's where it was at. So it's a little bit of distance away. We got the transition area over at Waterworks Park. We've got the swim start, swim finish for the full. For the 70.3 in 2021, the start was over here in this little swim beach area. I don't know if for 23, for the 70.3, they'll keep both over here. It might be a modification they made, lessons learned from 21. So that's to be determined. Over here is in purple is the parking lot for race day and for drop off gear and bike and all that kind of fun stuff. Over here in yellow was Cowles Commons, and that is where Ironman Village was. That's where check-in is. That's where the expo is, all the vendors, all that kind of good stuff. This little red line here is where the finish line was at. So I've done a couple different videos. I've looked at Airbnb and looked at vrbo.com. And I do Priceline, kind of checking hotels and everything. And then I'll go check the specific hotel if I find one on Priceline, just to make sure, because sometimes it's easier to deal with directly with hotels rather than going through Priceline if you got a problem. So if it's cheaper to go through that hotel or about the same price, I'll go through the hotel's website rather than Priceline. But usually Priceline beats out their price. And nowadays they're doing refunds a week out or something like that. So if anything happens, you can get 100% refund a week before the race. So these days, I'm kind of up for anything. It's kind of nice with Airbnb to get a kitchen and everything, but hotel life is a little bit more convenient too. You just kind of roll in and you've got your situation all set up, especially for a race like this. The places that I found on VRBO or Airbnb, the prices were through the roof pretty much, and parking was kind of questionable. It's like, where are you going to park? Where is this located? What's going on? So for 2021, I went with a hotel, so you can see here is Grays Lake Park. So you zoom in on that, and you got the airport down here. Well, there's a couple of hotels and everything down here. So in 21, I stayed at a hotel and just went back and forth. It was about 2-3 miles or something like that driving, but I had to drive, and I parked in Bell Avenue Business Center parking lot. I did park downtown when I got there to do my check-in and everything. Did that. And that's the only time I went to Expo besides the finish line area. And then most of the time I was parking here, take my bike in, do my check-in, all that kind of stuff. So 21, like I said, I kind of stayed outside of town. It was a little bit more inexpensive, but you can look up my old videos, and maybe I'll drop a link in the comments or something like that. I think it was Days In or something like that. It was very, unfortunately, outdated. It had everything I need. Had a mini fridge, had a bathroom, had a room, but it was very outdated, and a non-working tub in the room, which is kind of odd and weird, but it served the purpose. Especially it was kind of coming back from COVID, so they didn't have their kitchen area open for breakfast and stuff, but they provided breakfast bags of breakfast and stuff. So it was kind of different experience. But this year in 2022, I opted to go downtown. Yeah, it's a little bit more costly, but in the end, all I had to do was park my car in a parking garage there. It's convenient on Saturdays. They don't have a fee for parking. So that's why I checked in my bike. So I was able to basically park on Thursday and then left on Saturday and left for free. So I didn't have to pay for Thursday, Friday, or Saturday parking. Then I came back and parked for Saturday and Sunday and then left Monday. So I had to pay for one overnight. So it wasn't a big deal. So that worked out kind of convenient. So that's a pro tip. If you're gonna park downtown at any point in time, either come in or leave on a Saturday. Well, leave on a Saturday. So if you're staying downtown, you park on Thursday night or Wednesday or something like that. Try as best you can not to leave until Saturday, and you can pretty much kind of get away with that because I'm gonna go kind of in depth. Because the first perspective was staying a little bit outside of town and doing the traveling back and forth, and then this perspective is actually kind of, like I said, it's a trade off. It's going to be a little bit more expensive to stay downtown, but like I said, Priceline, I found a great deal. These prices right here are not reflective of what I paid because there was no way I'd pay $300 a night for a hotel. But this is just right now. I mean, there's Surety Hotel. I wanted to try to get this Holiday Inn Express because this would have been a nice community. There's a nice little walkway to the back entrance area of Gray's Lake. So this little hotel would have been awesome to just pop down here and walk over here. We did try to walk from a hotel where we stayed, if I could find it, downtown near Cowles Commons. Oh, I lost my way already. See? I'd be nothing without my map. So Cowles Commons. So we stayed at the Renaissance Des Moines Savory Hotel. So it was an older hotel, but it had been remodeled. Unfortunately, it did not have a mini fridge, which I was kind of surprised. So it had no mini fridge and no microwave. So we had to go buy a cooler, which luckily there's a Hy-Vee grocery store, a 5-minute walk away. So it was no big deal. It was right by the finish line. So we walked there, we got a cooler, and we used the ice machine, and we just filled it up, poked some holes in the bottom so it could drain in the bathroom and the drain. And that's what we used to keep our food cold. So it wasn't the best of situations, but we made the best of it, made it work out. Basically, we ate out once with the meal voucher, and it's right there downtown, so we were able to walk to that. We did Fong's Pizza. It was pretty good pizza after I got my order right. So maybe I'll do a video talking about Des Moines and just kind of the vibe of the town and everything. And I will mention, as I am making this video right now, I'm doing it live. So if you got any questions about lodging, about where I stay for the race or what I would recommend, feel free to drop it here in the comments. I'll see it live. But if you got any questions later, put them in the comments. I get notifications, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching this. So you have any questions or anything. Like I said, for 2022, stay downtown at the Renaissance Des Moines Savory Hotel. It's a mouthful. So the interesting part is most of these hotels downtown do not have parking, but right next to it is a huge parking garage, and I was a little bit leery, but didn't have a problem finding parking. I needed at least 7-foot clearance for the truck I drive, and they had that, so that was covered. I mean, basically, there's a let's see if it shows up here on the map. So this parking garage kind of covers this whole area, and to get to the hotel, they had skywalks all over downtown. So another topic maybe for talking about Des Moines in general, but they had skywalks all over downtown, so we could park in a parking garage and basically go skywalk to our hotel. So we didn't have to go outside, we didn't have to go in the street. So it was pretty convenient to park a car. Took 2 trips to get all the gear into the hotel, checked in and everything. But once we didn't need the car, like I said, until we did check in. It was a little bit of a hike to get over to Waterworks Park. We did walk it for the swim practice over here in Gray's Lake. It was about a 30-minute walk from Cowles Commons to where Ironman Village is, and check in, all that kind of fun stuff. Athlete briefings, the welcoming ceremony, everything else. So basically where all the action is kind of focused at for the majority before the race happens. To walk over here to Gray's Lake to do the swim star was about 30 minutes. So if you're planning on, they have, I believe they had bikes that you could rent, just city bikes. I didn't see too many. I think they had the scooters, but I didn't see too many of them. So if you want to get around town, maybe you bring like a little scooter of your own. Maybe you bring like just a little. I didn't have enough room to bring like just an extra bike for us to ride around town or anything. So something to keep in mind. If you need to get to like the swim practice or you need to drop your bike off, conveniently there's plenty of parking over here for the swim practice. So they opened that up for Ironman athletes to go park over there and swim. So really to drive downtown to over here, especially on Saturday morning, was not a big deal. And then driving Saturday afternoon, drop my bike off my gear for the full, or if you're going to do the half and you drop yourself off Saturday, it really wasn't a big deal to drive all the way down here. They let us park on the access road around Waterworks Park. So when you look over here, this little access road, they actually, in 21, we had to park at the Bell Street parking lot and walk it over, which was kind of a pain. But this year for 22, they opened up this road and let us park here and check on our bikes. So hopefully they keep that for 23, and that made it a lot more convenient to drive down, drop off our stuff, and go back to the hotel. So, as I mentioned, especially if you've got family members and spectators and everything, like I said, the majority of the action is going to be happening here in Ironman Village and Cowles Commons, and I would imagine they're going to keep it there. So this is kind of your layout. This is where all the action is at, except for race day and for gear drop off. So on race day, they did have shuttles to get us from Cowles Commons over to transition, and then they had shuttles after the event to get you and your gear to downtown if necessary. I was lucky. I had some friends. They grabbed my gear and stuffed in the hotel for me, so all I had to do was just walk over to the hotel, and it was no big deal. But they do have a way to get you and your stuff back over here so you don't have to walk another 2 miles because, after 140.6, 70.3, the last thing you want to do is walk with all your gear over there and do an extra 2 miles or something like that. But it is possible you can do it. So just be aware of that. Or you can take this little trail system. So that works too. They close off all the roads. So stayed downtown, was able to walk to everything. When we stayed at the Savory Hotel, we were right across the street. So I want to show you a little video real quick. So this is if you left our hotel. So this is walking out of the Renaissance, and you walk straight out, and right across the street was Cowles Commons and the Athlete Village, which I think you'd be hard pressed to find any other races with a hotel that close that was that affordable. Believe me, I am a cheapskate, and I don't like paying more than I have to for lodging or anything like that. The sport's expensive enough. But the last thing I want to do is pay through the nose for any kind of access or anything. But I booked it out several months in advance. It's super affordable. Maybe I got it at the right time as COVID restrictions were lifting a little bit and people still had plenty of rooms and were trying to get them out. So I think I kind of got the window where they were least expensive. But as you can see in the video, you just walk across the street. There's Ironman Village. There's everything that you possibly would need access to. There's check-in. When you walk through here, you go to the right. Check-in was in the inside of this little convention center area. Or we could have even just walked the Skywalk. We did that. We didn't even have to go outside, technically. We could have gone over there, checked in, and walked out and walked back home. But we went over, we checked out the vendors. We did an athlete briefing. I posted that. We went to the welcome ceremony. I posted that. So it's convenient, if we need to go get something. I checked in with Ironman U, the coach contact we had there. I was able to go to the Ironman Village. Really, everything was there at the Ironman Village. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So the total video, as you see, it's about 4 minutes. So you walk out of the hotel, and we're just kind of leisurely walking along because I got my video camera and I'm watching where I'm going, not trying to trip or anything. So you walk across the street, keep going, and keep walking, a few more blocks. And then, hope I'm not making anybody dizzy or sick or anything, we walked past the finish line to the high V. So basically, this area right here, if you look over to the right, that would be, they didn't put it up until the night before because they had some other things going on, some farmers markets and other things on the street, and it was shut down for Saturday, so they didn't build the finish line until Saturday night. So props to Ironman for doing that at the last minute because usually they have it built and ready. So turn to the right, there's the finish line, straight ahead, that is the high V. So it took us a grand total of 5.5 minutes to walk from our hotel to high V, hotel to the finish line, the finish line to Cowles Commons for the less than stellar veggie burgers and hot dogs. From the finish line to Cowles Commons to get shuttles back to transition. So really, it was super. We didn't have to pay for parking anywhere except for that one night was Sunday night. We had to pay for parking. Other than that, we used like I said, we were able to walk to Hy-Vee, so we were able to get the groceries we need. We didn't have to spend extra money on going out to eat that we didn't necessarily want to. Wahlburgers right there in Hy-Vee if you're kind of into that. We did go, see it right here. We went to Fong's Pizza because that's where one of the meal vouchers were. The Ironman gives you a $25 meal voucher. So basically, all the places are downtown where you can use those meal vouchers. It really, you know, staying downtown really helped out. I'm trying to zoom in here and see if you can see it. There's insomnia cookies. That was good. That was our treat the night before the race. They have cookies, they have ice cream, they have ice cream cookie cakes, all kinds of good stuff. So definitely recommend insomnia cookies. We went to, like I said, we went to Fong's Pizza for our dinner, and I'll probably talk about more of that in the Des Moines Vibe. They got my pizza order wrong, but after they fixed me the right pizza, it was very good. My daughter loved her pizza. It was a very interesting take on pizza, but like I said, it was very good. So we'll go ahead and close out the video. Like I said, I mean, this was a 5.5 minute walk to Hy-Vee. So staying downtown, I think, definitely has its advantages. Like right now, I mean, you're looking at check-ins. I was just curious to see. Believe January 10th, 11th. So let's say you checked in Friday. What it looks like. Yeah, it won't let me check dates and times earlier than that. So depending on when you're going to do your check-in and when you're going to stay there, I mean, they might already be jacking up prices for 2023, knowing that people are coming. So I think I caught it on a good time and a good day. Now, there's some VRBOs and Airbnbs down here, but once you factor in the cleaning fees and all this other stuff, it's just as expensive as doing hotel and Priceline. And I think with the hotel, we actually had an advantage because my friends that were hanging out with my daughter who got my gear for me, it was very awesome. They were able to drop it off at the desk, and they put it in the bell room, and it was nice and safe. So all I had to do was walk over, grab it, get in the elevator, and take it up to our room. It was pretty convenient. You're not going to be able to do that with Airbnb. Maybe they can get into it, if they had my daughter and she had access to it or something like that. But it's just not going to be that same situation where you have kind of an entity to help you out in situations like that. But so I'm not here to say that one is better than the other. I mean, definitely as you get further away from downtown, you're going to see a less expensive hotel situation. You got the Econo Lodge, which, 14 minutes. They had a good shuttle system, so you can actually stay down here on the other side of the river, come down and stay and park in the parking garage. It was right here. So you can park in the parking garage. There's plenty of room. This parking garage is huge. There's no way. Now, we only had about 1,100 athletes check in for the full in 2022. So in 23, when they go back to a half, I'm not sure. We had a couple thousand for 21 for the 70.3. So, but there's tons of parking garages all over downtown. Just look at Catch Des Moines, I believe it is .com. Tons of parking. All I gotta do is park in a parking garage, walk over to Cal's Commons, and catch the shuttles over to the transition area, or come over here and park at Bell Avenue Business Center. And they got shuttles. They didn't have shuttles in 21, but they had shuttles in 22. They learned their lesson and got you there quickly. Or if you do VIP, you can park right by the Waterworks Park and just get right over there. So if you want to spend that kind of money. But, I mean, so you could save money on your hotel and then invest it in VIP parking or something like that. I mean, $83 over here for Cozy Rest Motel. If you're looking for economy, there's definitely places to find it. And, you got $65 a night for Windsor Court in Iowa, Days Inn, extended stay. So there's plenty of options, especially down here by the airport. Like I said, we stayed, I believe, was ours Quality Inn or Days Inn or something like that. So there's plenty of other options. They're not nearly as expensive. But, if you want to just park and walk, definitely staying downtown. It's convenient. It's not a huge downtown like you would think. Here in Kansas City, our downtown is there's a lot of high rises, not very many places to park, and it's just not convenient. But downtown Des Moines is actually pretty convenient as far as parking goes. Getting around, there's not that much traffic. You're not going to get run over. It's not super crazy or anything like that. Plenty of stoplights, plenty of stop signs to get across the street. Especially the south side of downtown is more kind of revitalized for farmers markets and other type of open air type of atmospheres. It's really welcoming, I guess, to a situation where you want to park your car and just walk wherever you want to get. There's a grocery store, there's food, there's all the action in Cal's Commons for Ironman. and basically you don't need to go anywhere. So I know I sound like a sales pitch for one of the hotels downtown. I mean, if you stay at Fort Des Moines, I know people, you know, do your due diligence. Some people had problems with hotels canceling reservations because people extended or something like that. So I mean, even if you stayed at here, you just got a couple blocks, and it really was not. I mean, if it's raining, you can take the skywalks basically around downtown. It's not a problem. If it's super hot, you can take the skywalks downtown. If you stayed here at Fort Des Moines, the finish line was just down the street, right here in front of the Hy-Vee. So I mean, all you gotta do is Cows Commons right there, and finish line. You just walk right over there. So if you stayed at kind of a lower price hotel, you stay closer to downtown, Comfort Inn and Suites. I mean, there's tons of options to stay. Um, so if money were not an object, I would stay at the same hotel right across the street, and maybe, well, actually, like I said, I kind of looked at the possibility of there's a hotel. Where'd it go? So there's a hotel down here, like a Holiday Inn and Suites or something like that. That would be convenient to kind of be able to walk over here to this, but in retrospect, they opened up the parking for morning swim practice. So on Saturdays, there's free parking downtown anyway. So I just hop on my car, hop down there. It's like 5-7 minutes to get down there. Not a big deal. Park down there, do my swim, and then drive back and park in the parking garage. I'm done. Or bring my bike, and do check in after that. It is really, I think, convenient. Stay downtown and be right here, right in the center of the action. I mean, if you want to be really involved in what's going on, the race, the athlete briefings, the just athletes walking around, the Ironman Village, you want to go to the Ironman store, you want to check out all the expo, you want to be there convenient for the welcoming ceremony. It's all right there. So, I mean, staying downtown, you basically have access to all that. You don't need a car. Everything's within like a 5, maybe 10 minutes. I mean, we walked across Martin Luther King Parkway here, and we visited Diamond Bikes. It's down here. I'll do a little bit of talking about that later in a different video. There's other little shops and stores here that you can go shopping in, some kind of fun stuff, interesting stuff. I mean, so there's something for everybody. There's Science Center, Science Center of Iowa. If you want to take your kids, they want to do something. There's plenty of places to eat. There's plenty of places to get groceries if you don't want to eat out all the time. So there's lots of options downtown. Like I said, I'm usually more of an economy kind of guy, but I think at the time I made my reservations, these were actually pretty cost effective compared to staying downtown or down by maybe the airport and having to kind of hike it in every time. So just keep that in mind for swim practice. They let you park right by the Grace Lake. When a problem for checking your bike and your gear, they let you park in the access road. So that does make quite a bit of a difference. So you don't have to park at Bell Avenue Business Center, and then it's 1.3, and to walk over here and walk over to transition. It was just kind of a pain. It was uphill, especially if it's hot and sunny. It's not very fun. But allowing us to park over there, I think, makes a huge difference. So if you're staying out of downtown, you're driving in, it's not a big deal. But if you want to be kind of involved and enveloped in the action, especially Ironman U, being a certified coach, I helped become 110, did some other things, and I know some of the Ironman people. So just being able to go over to Cows Commons, do the check-in on Friday, and then come back later and walk the expo, then come back and do athlete briefing, then come back and do the welcoming ceremony, just be able to walk over the hotel and just relax or whatever you needed to or get stuff done. It was very convenient. So I didn't see any comments, and I kind of ran on a little bit about that, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys what it looks like when you're staying downtown. And like I said, I mean, it was a 5-minute walk, right across the street to get to the Ironman Village and check in everything. And it was like a 5-minute to get to a Hy-Vee grocery store, because we all know that Ironman athletes need their food, they need their nutrition, they need last minute stuff. It's a full grocery store, so they had the pharmaceutical, whatever you want to call it, the Band-Aids, Aquaphor, tape if you want to put tape on your bags. I bought some party frilling stuff to put on my bag so I can recognize it in the transition area. So it's a good last minute stop for everything that you possibly need. They had a parking garage too, so if you want to go there and drive there, it's not a problem. So that's kind of my recommendations. Definitely, if you're price conscious, there's plenty of options outside of downtown, and I think plenty of availability to park and do what you need to a transition, and then do what you need to with a practice swim or coming around and checking out Grays Lake Park and dropping off your stuff for the race, like bike or gear bags, and then coming back to your hotel. But it was kind of nice not having to spend that travel time to drive around and do different things. I know that's a big thing with Ironman races, going around and just driving around, logistics of doing all this stuff and staying there within walking distance of everything really cut down on the anxiety level as far as having to drive anywhere, and logistics that when I had to drive one time to go drop my bike, my gear bag off, and then drive back to the hotel, and it was pretty much not a pain in the butt to do all that. And I could have walked it really if I wanted to, but I didn't want to because that was a long walk, especially when it gets warm. Didn't want to do that. So staying downtown really was nice for this event. Like I said, I recommend, when you look at events, you look at travel, and I think, Catch Des Moines, they were pretty instrumental, I think, in connecting athletes with what's going on. And they had deals if you showed your wristband, accommodations. They had different accommodations and recommendations. I mean, there's a lot, the airport, Courtyard, West 5, Deluxe Hotel, which is kind of a fun play on words. So this is for 2022. So these rates may change, but, Des Moines did a good job, I think, of laying out opportunities and places to stay that that's their host hotels. So they're doing a lot with those hotels, and they're based out of there, and that's where a lot of their action is happening. Especially, basically, if you want to be in the action, you need to pick a spot that's close by Ironman Village, check in, and all that, because that's where most of the action is going to happen. And then when you're doing your bike drop off and your bag drop off, really, it's just dropping off your stuff, maybe looking at the course and transition, and then you're done. Or if they're doing a practice swim or something like that. So definitely, if you're looking for convenience and you're looking for walking around and not having to get in your car and drive around, find some places close to the Ironman Village, and you'll save yourself a lot of logistics as far as traveling around. But if you're looking, you're on a budget, everything, staying outside of town, especially for this race, there's plenty of opportunities that you can go stay outside, but still have plenty of opportunities. There's plenty of parking downtown. There's plenty of parking around Grays Lake for the things they're doing and for checking and stuff. So that's kind of my recommendations. I know it was kind of, vague, but a lot of people, Airbnb, VRBO, if you're looking for that price line, or if you're looking, you got a deal with your hotel chain or something like that, I think it's a good opportunity. So that's my recommendations. If money was no object, staying downtown every time, no problem. But if you're looking for a budget, staying outside of town, it's not a problem. Or if you can find a good deal to stay downtown, I definitely recommend it. If you can get within a block or two of Ironman Village to be able to walk around, super convenient to walk around, not a problem. So that's definitely why we recommend staying as close to Ironman Village as possible. If it's within your budget, saves on logistics and travel. But if you have to stay outside of downtown, it shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to get there and get your stuff done, especially now that they've opened up. Before, we couldn't park in the access road. We couldn't park in Grays Lake parking area. But they changed all that to allow that to happen for Ironman races. So with that, I think that really helps out a lot. So we're going to wrap up the video. I know I talked a lot, showed you a lot of actions, and see any comments. If you liked it, Facebook, give it a thumbs up. If you liked it on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe, get the notifications for future videos on Des Moines or any other course we're going to do. Future Ironman tips. With that, happy training out there. Happy booking your lodging and logistics for a race, and we'll see you out on race day.